One thing that's crazy, the Chiefs are only a 1.5 point favorite against the Eagles. Now, I don't think it's crazy in the context of this game because Saquon is terrifying and Vic Fangio is terrifying. But if the Eagles find a way to win this Super Bowl, I don't think people quite realize that Howie Roseman will go down, is on the way to going down as one of the greatest executives in NFL history. And you might say what I'm about to say is a backhanded compliment. It is, not to Howie. But if Sirianni and Jalen Hurts were to beat Mahomes and Andy Reid, and then Howie Roseman combines that with Nick Foles and Doug Peterson beating Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, I'm not sure. I went back to like the late 80s. If there's an executive that has twice beaten top 2 quarterback, top 5 coach combinations with combinations of head coach and QB that neither will be in the Hall of Fame. Like when you look back, let's just say the last 25 years of Super Bowl winners, who are your champions that weren't at least one of the two, QB or head coach, a future Hall of Famer? All right, like Joe Flacco and John Harbaugh. Like John Harbaugh is a consistent winner for almost 2 decades as an NFL head coach. Billick and Dilfer. Billick was a legit, his offenses as offensive coordinator were really good when he was in Minnesota, and then was a legit head coach. But I would say that's like neither one of them's a Hall of Famer. Gruden, Brad Johnson, plus they had all the Raiders plays. Raiders got screwed again. We're not going to rehash that now. Gruden was considered one of the best head coaches in the NFL for a span. Doug Peterson is not that. Sirianni is not that. Peyton Manning won. Peyton at the end of his career. This one's a little tricky as the Broncos, Kubiak and Peyton. But Peyton is still Peyton. He's Peyton Manning. Now, he was not Hall of Fame Peyton then, but he is still Peyton. And for the Eagles to have a chance with Sirianni and Hurts to beat Reid, and they do have a chance, I think, to beat Reid and Mahomes. And if you do that after you've done what you did the previous time, and by the way, he's been to another Super Bowl. I think people now, like in this era, recognize that Howie Roseman's one of the best GMs going. And I know we don't do a lot of, Howie Roseman topics, but I think it's an unheard of, at least in my lifetime, accomplishment. And that is, I guess it's not a backhand. I guess now that I think about it, it's not really a backhanded compliment to Sirianni and Hurts. It's just not a compliment. It would be incredible, a team effort. Let's not reduce it. They would be a worthy champion, although I shake my head when I think about, and I've said that this is not revisionist history when I just think about the NFC this year, that the Niners couldn't even get themselves in the mix, which is that is a shot at them. I mean, just given that the NFC lacked really any pedigree this year. Detroit, no pedigree. Tampa, no pedigree. The Rams have some. Minnesota, no. Washington, none. It's just that the fact that doesn't mean they would, if they were, obviously nothing's guaranteed, and they didn't deserve it. The Niners didn't deserve it. They were a bad football team. They won 6 football games. Let's not forget. But it's the opposite of the AFC right now, and to not put themselves in position to take advantage of that. Maybe they'll be better this year. But to not put themselves in position to take advantage of that is just, a colossal failure from which they have to work to recover. And it will only make it all the more painful. I know Debo's wearing the A.J. Brown jersey, and, kind of makes it feel like that rivalry is dead. I don't think that rivalry is dead. I think Eagles and Niners end up on the field in an NFC Championship game again. It'll feel like a massive rivalry, despite the fact that Debo wore that jersey. But I think it'll also twist the knife on the Niners if Nick Sirianni is holding up the Lombardi Trophy. And maybe Kellen Moore goes off and becomes the coach of the Saints, but Vic Fangio is going to be back. They're not firing their defensive coordinator after the Super Bowl like the Niners did last year, even if he blows the game like the Niners think Steve Wilkes did. But I shake my head. And when you think like, well, maybe that combo Sirianni, or maybe it's not worthy. No, I mean, the team is worthy. Howie Roseman, the franchise, like he's done it again. He's done it again. Producer Connor, I know you've been doing some historical research on coaches. What do you think? Am I being mean? Is this too mean of a take?
No, I mean,
okay.
Howie Roseman he's the best GM. Maybe Brett Veach is right up there with him for trading up for Mahomes, right? It's those guys. And then year in, year out, they draft the best draft classes. They reset their defense. I think I told you earlier, the Eagles went from the third oldest defense in 2023 to the fifth youngest. Complete reset. Howie Roseman does. And in free agency, getting Gardner Johnson on the back end and Zach Bond is an all-pro linebacker out of nowhere. Just incredible for Howie Roseman. But
how about the way they built their offensive line too? That's the other one, right?
Yeah.
Jordan Mailata.
Lane Johnson gets away with the false start every time. Just phenomenal coaching there by Sirianni.
Yeah. Sirianni's got it dialed.
If you had to give Sirianni a compliment in one area, what's your area? Because I think it's his ability to interview coordinators.
Yeah, but he didn't choose Howie did that too. They tried to think people. So every once in a while, somebody's like new to the show is like, what do you got against Sirianni? I have nothing against. They've taken play calling from him not once but twice. Like that's crazy. But and I said this the other day that he must do. I don't know what his elite skill is. And somebody sent me a message. I've mentioned this recently on the show, and they were like, "Leader of men." And I was like, I guess there was an article earlier this year that him and Jalen Hurts can't be in the same room together alone without like somebody else to help it work. So I don't know what it is. Working with Howie Roseman, like that's valuable, right? The GM, he got himself hired and he's kept the job.
He wins.
I guess you could do the Kurt Signetti and like Google me, I win, but I don't think it's him. But again, here he is. So
he's a coordinator merchant, right? Kellen Moore's going to be head coach. His last Steichen,
it's why it's crazy. Like if they were to win, Connor, I give them full credit. Like they'd be a worthy champion, especially if you have to beat the Chiefs. But if they have to replace a coordinator again, I just don't know how. Like you couldn't pick them to repeat. I don't think, but they are. You know what they are too is like they fly in the face of you need chemistry and camaraderie. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying they don't, but like they're a little all over the place with him and with Hurts and with AJ Brown and like it's just and Vic. It's just like they're a little all over the place, but talent and good coaching and good players and good organization and
it goes to show good players can turn teams all together last year to this year. And like you said, what does Sirianni really do? He got play calling stripped from him. I think it's really the players getting these coordinators hired. The players,
and then Vic is so good.
Vic is so good, and he's not going anywhere. Which we
sound like such haters right now.
We are.
It's probably true.
But I mean, this team. I was thinking about it though. The 49ers, if they squeak into the playoffs, Saquon's running for 250 yards.
Not good.
D-line. There's no chance.
It might have been a blessing to just totally avoid that embarrassment.
And have the 11th pick.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's part of Super Bowl 59. Like, then there's the Andy Reid element too. Because he's getting, I don't know. What do the numbers say about Andy versus like Belichick?
All right. The question is, Andy Reid, by the end of Andy Reid's career, do you project him to be better than Bill Belichick? And I'll read you the numbers, but think about it right now. Okay. As we currently sit, Andy Reid has 301 wins. He's 3 Super Bowl wins in 5 appearances. He's 5 of 6 in AFC titles, 1 of 5 in NFC championship games, and has 27 playoff wins. Compared to Bill Belichick, 333 wins.
Okay, 32 more.
Yep.
It's like 2 seasons worth.
At this rate, yep. 6 of 9 Super Bowls, 9 of 13 AFC titles, and 31 playoff wins. What do you think by the end of Andy Reid's run, will he be better than Bill Belichick?
So, like, if he wins this one, will he get to 6? if they win 3, he'll have three-peated. So he'll then have 4 Super Bowls to Bill's 6.
Correct.
The AFC championships aren't moving, so he's 4 behind in conference championships. Well, actually he's 3 behind because he has the NFC championship.
Yeah.
The playoff wins is crazy. Like he's won basically as much as Bill has in the playoff, except for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Which I don't remember, but were the Eagles not a 1 or 2 seed way back then? And were they just winning a lot of wild card matchups, getting to the title game?
They had a cup. They had to have been a 1 seed a few times. I mean, if we go back, yeah, I remember them winning a lot of games. Let's check Andy's Football Reference here real quick.
But I think even if Andy Reid gets to 6, right?
They actually had 1 13-win season in that stretch. The rest were 11 and 12. I mean, it's like I still ride with Belichick, I think, and part of it. But it's the other thing that's similar with Andy is it's 2 different eras. Although he didn't win it in the first era, but he was really good in the first era. Bill had like 2 totally separate eras he had like 2 different dynasties.
Yeah.
And they were also different because you had Tom as your guy, but you were on the other side on defense as the defensive coordinator. I think, part of it was he had elite quarterbacks that they had to beat throughout. Like he was beating Peyton Manning, one of the greatest of all time, consistently. And just like Andy, like he's really close he could have had 7 Super Bowls. He could have had 8 Super Bowls, So I got to go with Bill. I got to go with Bill because I don't know if this is even logical, but I'm just thinking about it. He was not Brady's OC. Like Brady had the other side of the ball, but the defense was still elite. But I mean, you got Spagnuolo. I'm still gonna ride. I mean, 6 is bigger than 4 even. So is Andy gonna win 6? Is he gonna win 2 more?
Even if he gets
if they win this one, he could.
I'm not going to say no.
As long as Spagnuolo doesn't go anywhere. But like, it doesn't feel like anyone's hiring Spagnuolo right now, which is kind of crazy. I feel like somebody should at this point.
Somebody definitely should. He's had 1 chance as a head coach, but I think even if
I'm going to say no. I'm saying no.
Yeah, and I think the reason why it's no, even if he gets to 6, unless Andy Reid gets to 7, then it's a whole different. Then I think he is the best. But if he gets to 6, Belichick beat him head to head in a Super Bowl and in the AFC title game. And Belichick also has, for what it's worth, 2 coordinator Super Bowl victories for the Giants. So I think the whole body of work is better. But yeah.
The other thing I'd add is I remember when Brady was approaching Joe Montana's Super Bowl record, Super Bowl number, and then surpassing it, is like people would use the fact that he lost Super Bowls against him. And I didn't like that. People would be like, well, Joe never lost one. Like, yeah, but Tom went to whatever he went to, 9 or 10 or whatever the number is. And so I don't like penalize you for losing Super Bowls. You know what I mean? So like going to 9, which is what Bill did, is still going to be, Andy's got to go to, I guess, 3 more after this one, which here's the thing that Andy will have. And when it's all said and done, like, let's say we look back and he's gone to, this will be 6. And he goes to like 2 more, he goes to 8. Who he's going through in the AFC, that list of quarterbacks who may never, like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. Am I missing anybody in the AFC? Like those 4 guys they may combine for 0 career Super Bowls when it's all said and done because of Andy and Mahomes. That's pretty crazy.
The NFC may never win a Super Bowl in the next 2 decades or the next decade.
And the NFC may not. And even like Herbert doesn't belong in that category with those other 3 guys. But like, what if we look back and Burrow, Allen, and Lamar, all first ballot Hall of Famers with 0 combined Super Bowls from the same era?
That was sort of the the Brady Manning thing where
but Manning got his.
But and Big Ben got his, and Rivers never got his. But
Rivers. Yep.
It was always these AFC quarterbacks with being gatekept by Peyton or by Tom Brady.
Yeah.
All right, and then another question for you: if Sirianni wins, he's gonna be regarded as a good coach. He's won a Super Bowl, of course. But
okay.
where does he rank amongst current coaches if they win?
Okay, in the NFC, he'd be behind my list. Shanahan, behind McVay, behind LaFleur, behind Schottenheimer. No. So I think you'd have to put him fourth. Now, I'd rather have, like, I would just hire Kevin O'Connell. So maybe I'm putting him behind Kevin O'Connell. I'd rather have, yeah, so he's a top 5 NFC coach at that point, I guess.
I guess
so much disrespect. I'm sorry. I am very open to the possibility that he has like several elite skills that just are not part of the public knowledge, but the goofiness, the whole thing is just like, no way, this can't be. This guy can't be.
His chirping fans of the opposing team, or his own fans, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing because you want to give the MVP trophy to Howie Roseman, or like the coach of the year.
Saquon, Saquon. Right. Did we have his coach of the year that gets announced? Did that already happen? When's NFL honors? Did that happen already? No, that's probably like Saturday night.
Saturday, yeah.
Who's going to be coach of the year? Do you have a prediction?
I mean, Kevin O'Connell until. Do they consider playoffs? Even though
I think the voting happens. Well, I think the voting happens before.
I see. I think it's got to be Kevin O'Connell with what he did with Sam Darnold, and that team was picked to finish 3rd or 4th in that division, and they had 14 wins. I would say Kevin O'Connell. What about you?
Yeah, who won it last year? Stefanski. Yeah, I'd give it to Dan Campbell. Like, to me, it's a 2. Like, I'd give it to Dan Campbell just based on the lot. Like, it's kind of a multi-year award in my mind, and I would have voted for Dan Campbell. Like a multi-year award. Stefanski won it. Daboll won it the year before that. This award is always, and that's where like I'd have beef with. Clearly, O'Connell did an amazing job, but the award tends to be, we thought you were going to suck and you didn't suck, right? Which is fine. Like Daboll goes 9-7-1, like, or Stefanski goes 11. We thought you're going to suck. You didn't suck, coach of the year. And that's how you end up with Belichick winning the award 3 times ever. And how many times has Andy Reid won the award? Once. Like, that's the award is, we thought you're going to suck. You didn't suck. I tend to give more credit to, we thought you're going to be really good and you got a bunch of injuries and you took everybody's best shot and you were still really good. And you did it with the Lions of all franchises. Now I know I'm talking about it like it's a multi-year award, but that's what I would do. Stefanski has more coach of the year awards than McVay, and he has the same number as McVay and Andy Reid combined.
Yeah, that is.
Get out of here with the coach of the year award. It's just, we just are so conditioned to, you were supposed to suck, you didn't suck. Instead of, how about we give some credit to, you were supposed to be good and you were good. And that's hard.
Yeah, that is hard. With the body work of, the Lions were so banged up on defense. But, I mean, given that logic that they've went by with Stefanski, with Brian Daboll, it should be Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, I know. It will be. It probably will be. That'll be the prediction. And by the way, I'm not even sure that Dan Campbell's better than, like, he might not be a top 5 NFC coach when it's all said and done.
Right.
When it's all said and done. But we'll see next year with the coordinator changes. But, right now, like, I respect the hell out of him. He deserves it.